to the Des Child Show, your hour of encouraging talk and music. God is so good. Nothing is impossible for him. I really look up to Christian singer-songwriter Moriah Peters, and she released her debut album a few years back when she was about 19 years old, so she's pretty young. And now she's releasing her second album called Brave. God really is prominent in her life, and it shows in her music and in her speech as well. And I know that because I got to speak with her this week over the phone, and it really felt normal and natural, like two girlfriends that have known each other for like forever. So I'll most definitely be sharing that interview with you. Moriah is performing at Calvary Chapel Vineland Sunday, July 20th, along with rapper Derek Minor, Never Forsaken, The Others, the Calvary Chapel Vineland worship team, and yours truly, myself, Des Childs. Needless to say, I am beyond excited. When I first heard Cutlass, I thought, wow, this is so cool. They took worship music to a whole new level, and it really rocked. Don't get me wrong, I love worship music, but sometimes it can be really solemn all of the time when there are other aspects of worship that I think can be explored a little bit more. We tend to play it safe in church, and if that's your thing, then that's cool, of course. And I'm sure my pastor, who's probably listening, is probably getting a little nervous, but I'm not talking about anything outrageous, but our praise to God can be and should be fun, too. You know, we've been saved. Death no longer has a hold on us. We're going to live forever. Isn't that great news? So why not dance a little bit and sing loud and proud, clap your hands, and if you like to rock and roll, then go listen to some Cutlass and jump around. Just don't hurt yourself, or anyone else, for that matter. I also heard live music producer Tom Jackson talk about worship. He's worked with the likes of Taylor Swift, Jars of Clay, New Song, you name it, he's probably worked with. He's also a Christian himself, and he challenges the worship team to have at least one song where they don't have any words on the screen. We've become so used to looking at a screen when sometimes listening and just taking in the music and the words can be a whole new experience. So that's my little spiel on worship. Moriah has been on tour with many great and well-known Christian acts, including the band you just heard, 10th Avenue North, Mercy Me for King and Country. She's actually married to the lead singer of For King and Country, Joel Smallbone. They've been married for over a year now, and Moriah has quite the story. She's been writing songs since she was 13. She was singing on the worship team at her church, and she actually prayed about auditioning for American Idol. And she went and auditioned. She made it pretty far, but her values, her Christian values, actually kind of turned off the producers of the show, and they told her to go out and experience life more. Kiss a boy, go date, etc. And she was having none of that, so she left. And about 2 minutes later, God changed her entire life. She signed a record deal, and she got engaged, and she got married. And so I'll let her tell more of the story and more about her life and her music and ministry. Here's part 1 of my interview with singer-songwriter Moriah Peters. I know you'll just love her. We are so excited to have Moriah Peters on the Des Child Show. She's playing at Calvary Chapel Vineland Sunday, July 20th with Derek Minor, my good friends Never Forsaken, The Others, the Calvary Chapel worship team, and myself. I'm super excited. So Moriah, do you play in South Jersey often, or is this your first time visiting?
This will be my first time playing in Vineland, New Jersey. I had no idea, Des, that you're going to be playing at the concert as well. That's going to be great.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm super excited. I'm actually a big fan of yours. I love your music. It's really cool.
Thank you. Thank you. Are we going to be representing for the ladies?
What's that?
Are we going to be representing for the ladies?
Oh, definitely. And you tour with 2 other ladies, right?
Yes, I've got a fierce female band, Des.
Very cool. I'm excited to see you guys. Or gals. Yeah. Excited to see you
gals.
I saw some pictures. I looked you guys up on YouTube. You guys really put on a great show. I'm excited to see it.
Thank you. We're excited to be there.
And I also know Never Forsaken is also a female-fronted band, so we have some girl power in the house, so it'll be awesome.
Good, much needed.
So you've been writing songs and singing for many years, but you actually got your big break after leaving American Idol. Is that correct?
Yes, I mean, that's a very simple way to put it, but
I heard the
yes.
full story, but I wanted you to tell us what happened. I know they were kind of unusual circumstances, so tell us about that experience.
Yeah, it was an amazing experience, and I'm so grateful for the time that I had with that group. And had it not been for American Idol, I don't think I would be here where I am. But it's because God used it, and not in a way that you would normally expect, because the ultimate answer was a no, was a you don't go on to wherever the next city was. But the moment that I walked out of the room, I had somebody approach me who proceeded to connect me with a woman who, her name's Wendy Green. I owe her my life. She took me in under her wing and introduced me to labels here in Nashville, my manager, and the best part was that she introduced me to a man named Joel, who is now
Yes.
my husband.
We definitely want to talk about him later. We're going to continue with my interview with Christian singer-songwriter Moriah Peters. She's playing at Calvary Chapel Vineland July 20th, Sunday. Mark your calendars at 5 p.m. And right now she's going to talk to us a little bit about her marriage to For King and Country lead singer Joel Smallbone. Check it out. So you're the envy of many girls. So you married Joel Smallbone from For King and Country about a year ago. So you're coming up on your year, or you just passed it?
A year and 4 days ago.
That is awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. We just came back from St. Augustine, Florida, the oldest city in America. Yes, before Jamestown and before Plymouth Rock. And the only reason why America does not recognize it as the oldest city in the world, just a little history lesson for you, is because it was founded by the Spanish. So but I recognize it as the oldest since I'm of Spanish descent.
So you guys were visiting, or this is like a 1-year gift to yourselves?
Yes, it was a celebration of our 1-year anniversary.
How sweet. Now you both have crazy touring schedules, so how do you balance married life and a blossoming music career?
It's an interesting balance.
Sure.
I think it takes a lot of diligence and it takes a lot of intentionality. For us, we set little rules in place to make sure that we're being responsible with this gift that God has given us, this love that He's given us. And I feel like marriages and love, I mean, I've only been married for a year, so I'm not an expert, but from what I can tell so far, it feels like a marriage and a relationship is a gift from God, and it has to be protected. And so for us, that looks like, let's not go longer than 2 weeks without seeing each other face to face. Let's have Skype dates when we're apart from one another. Sometimes we get dressed up for them. It's pretty pathetic.
That is cute.
And the most recent thing we kind of enacted was we replaced our iPhone alarms with actual old school alarm clocks. So we keep our iPhones in a separate room. That way, before we go to bed and when we wake up, we're not tempted to, look straight at work and emails, and that we're able to just properly unplug, I guess you could say.
We're going to get back to my interview with singer-songwriter Moriah Peters. She has a new album coming out called Brave, and it drops July 15th of this year. And she also has a website called youarebrave.com where you can submit your own stories of how you were brave in your life and how you overcame. Now, July 15th is when your new album drops called Brave. We're so excited for you. You released the first single off the album called You Carry Me, and you actually asked your fans to share their own brave stories. And they range from being in a destructive relationship to having a rare disease and overcoming. So do you have a story in your own life that you can tell us about how, you had to be brave in that circumstance.
Yes, I'm so glad you brought up the youarebrave.com website. It's been, again, one of those very spiritually renewing things for me. Um, it- I think we all experience doubts in different ways. For me, I combat those doubts, and I'm most impacted by the existence of God when I see how he works in other people's lives. And so I wanted to share that same impact with other people. These stories, they're from people that I've never met before, to my sister-in-law, to my best friend, to a fan from a show. I mean, people have been submitting these stories left and right, using that hashtag #YouAreBrave, and it's been so wonderful to read how God has been working in other people's lives. Personally, for me, I've yet to write my own "You Are Brave" story, because I'm kind of saving it for when we add a video feature. So I'd like to post my little "You Are Brave" video in the next couple of months here. But just to give you a little preview, I've always struggled with anxiety, and
Me too.
I wouldn't. Yes, it's a terrible thing, and I find that a lot of people actually struggle with fear and worry and anxiety, but it's almost become culturally acceptable. And I think part of that has to do with the fact that, in America, we're all about being proactive and hardworking and getting things done. And, when you ask somebody how they're doing and they start going on a rant about how busy they are and how stressed they are, it's almost a proverbial pat on the back, because it's a way of saying I'm successful because I've got so much on my plate. Whereas the Lord, it's like this is almost a recent discovery for me. Like, in scriptures, it's a sin to be stressed. It's a sin to be afraid. God commands us. Read Joshua 1:9. He says, have I not told you? Have I not commanded you? Do not be afraid. Do not be terrified. And I have to remind myself of that anytime I find myself getting worried or anxious or stressed out, that's wrong. It's not just a side effect of being successful or a side effect of being unsuccessful. It's a sin. It's wrong, and it's something that we have to fight. So personally, I'm working through that, and I'm walking through that, and I don't consider myself to have accomplished that or completely overcome fear within itself, but I am in the fight, and I am battling that every day, trying to live a life of peace and joy, because that's the kind of life that God would have us live. That's the kind of witness, we're meant to be.
Yep. Life in abundance. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus came to give life. And I'm so glad you brought up the anxiety issue. It's something that I really struggle with. And it's something that I share when I'm talking as well. And something I'll probably share on July 20th too. And so many women, especially, I don't know why it's more women prone, but I'm sure men deal with anxiety too in their own ways. But so many women come up to me, I'm sure they come up to you, and are so thankful that somebody else shared that. Especially if it's severe anxiety, like they can't go places. I've heard stories, women lock themselves in their rooms for days and months at a time, and they just feel so alone. So I'm so glad that you are opening up and are going to share your story about that. So you're going to write an actual song about it, or you're going to just write like a blog about it?
Well, I guess, and in both.
Cool.
On my new record, I have a song called "Oh Fear" that speaks directly to that very issue. And I'll be playing it in Vineland coming up here.
Nice.
But I think for my personal "You Are Brave" story that I post on socials and feature on the youarebrave.com website, I'll probably post just a quick video talking about that and encouraging other people to post a video as well.
That concludes my interview with singer-songwriter Moriah Peters. Check her out at Calvary Chapel, Vineland, July 20th. The show starts at 5 p.m. For more info, please visit MoriahPeters.com. Moriah is spelled Moriah. Such a beautiful lady inside and out. At the end of our interview, she actually took the time to pray with me. And that, to me, was the coolest thing. Of all the artists I interviewed so far, she's the only one who really took the time to do that. So I heard this song recently, and I can't stop listening to it. It's one of those songs that can be interpreted in a few different ways. Since I'm a Christian, I tend to have more of a Christian point of view. And if you've been a Christian for any length of time, you know that you're being perfected by God daily. It's the sanctification process. He's constantly calling us to pursue him, to let go of the world, to let go of what we want, because he has something better for us. In the past few weeks, God has been calling me to let go of this certain thing. I'm holding tightly to it, but it's not what he wants for my life, and it's hard. But as I kept listening to this song, God was ministering to my heart, saying that when he calls us to let go, he also calls us to hold on to him. When we give to him what we want, he replaces that thing with himself, with his love and his peace. Whatever has you this week, today, whatever has gripped your heart for years that you know is bad for you, just let it go. But hold on to God in the process because he loves you. I hope we encouraged you this week to let go, to let God, to hold on to God because he loves you. You can visit me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, just by looking up Des Childs, DezChilds. Remember, God is for you and not against you. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. God bless and have a great week.
Who gave the need to be loved? Why do I breathe? Feel the warmth of the sun. Was